Jug of Thoughts podcast. Recorded at the Ontario House, the Stone Jug.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. We're at the Jug, the Ontario House. We're in the back talking with the Captain. Hello, Captain.
Hello, everybody. And we're going to do a little segment on the canceled Phish show here tonight.
Yeah, we just started discussing it. So it was, we're recording this on a Monday, and this weekend leading up to this Monday was supposed to be Curveball, Phish's 11th festival.
Yeah, I went to Super Bowl 8, I think. And that was about 5 years ago.
And they didn't just want to call it 8 Ball?
Yeah, I know.
They're like, it's too easy. Little bad connotations with that.
So, yeah.
So this is the 11th one, and I've been watching, I've been keeping up to date with, their whole setup. I mean, these festivals they do are huge. It's, it's a Bonnaroo for one band, and they put it on themselves.
It's
and
crazy.
They throw everything they have at it, and they've been planning this for over a year, and millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And people started showing up on, I guess, Thursday or Friday, and I was watching the whole thing through Instagram. You just follow Curveball, #Curveball. You see everybody who's posting, and I'm watching hundreds of people rolling into the festival, getting set up, and then I forgot when it was. It was in the afternoon. It was right before they were about to go do their first sound check.
Right.
They were about to go out and start playing a little bit, and they got word that they're pulling the plug. Cancellation. The New York Board of Health deemed the water unsafe, and they pulled their permits and shit. So even if they did play, it would have been they would have gotten arrested, which would be pretty punk rock.
Yeah, it would. It would have been cool as shit, but
yeah, but
you also don't want anybody dying.
No, yeah, I know. You don't and in festivals, water is the most important thing.
It literally is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You can see people outside some of those festivals and selling bottles of water for $4 and $5.
Yeah, for real.
And people are buying it right up,
I remember, dude, the first festival I went to when I was a kid was in Minnesota, I think. 10,000 Lakes, something like that.
Oh, no.
No, that's all right, man. That's good. Okay, so
I'm like, what?
I'm pretty sure it was...
Are they pulling the plug on us?
The water's no good, man.
The water's no good. Get out.
Yeah, but I think it was called 10,000 Lakes, I think, but whatever. And the whole time we got bottles of water. We brought a ton of water, and we're buying water. We're spending half of our money on water.
Yeah.
And then on the last day, the locals, the guys who had been there every year they had this festival, was like, "Oh, you guys aren't going to the water stations?" We're like, "The what?" They're like, "Dude, the best water in the country is here." They bring it, they bring it down from the mountains. There's water stations. You can go get as much as you want. One dude's like, "Dude, I fill up 5-gallon jugs and bring it home every year. What are you guys drinking out of bottles for?" Thanks for telling us, man.
Well, we were just emptying these out so we could fill them up with your pure water.
Yeah. They're like, "This is the best water you could find. This is glistening mountain water from the mountains right there." Well, they say this is from Fiji, but I'm pretty sure it's from a factory. So.
Right.
So yeah, water's very important. So right before they're about to go out, they just cancel it. They pull it. They say you can't do it, man. This is a disaster zone now. So there's been flooding all season up in Watkins Glen. So I guess it's all messed up there.
Yep.
But I was just showing her. I'll have to show it to you. There's a picture of the moment Trey's being told. It's from
that's
backstage,
amazing.
and it's is there a fucking ice cream truck here? I heard that earlier, too.
I don't know. I hear it, though.
I was sitting here, and sorry if you heard that little thing. I looked at my girl, I was like, "Do you hear that, too?" Or is is this it? Am I going crazy?
So what is it?
I don't know what that was. I have no idea.
We don't know what it is.
No, I don't know. I think it might be an ice cream truck.
Well, I wish I could get an ice cream sandwich.
I want one of them Ninja Turtles with the gumball nose.
There we go. That would be great.
Yeah, but there's a black and white picture from backstage of just all the equipment, and then you see Trey and this other guy telling him we got to pull it, and it's just like this chilling photo from a distance. Like, I can't even imagine what the vibe was there. But we know some people who were there.
We do.
You said you know like 20 people who were there.
I do. I know, a large group of our friends, some mutual friends of ours, they rented a house right in Watkins Glen. I think that there was 12 of them staying in the house, and then they said that they have a few other people that were going to like put tents up on the property. So, they're all down there, and the house is already rented. They're ready to roll. And
a house, that sounds like the greatest weekend. Because that's my thing. Like, I kind of want the house now. I think I'm getting to the age where I want the house.
Yeah, it's like a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah.
So like 5 couples, got together, and then, a couple single friends, probably are taking the couches and whatever. And then, it's the way to go for sure. You can do all your grocery shopping before you even go there, bring all your food, do everything.
And it's close to the grounds. That's perfect.
It's great. It's
great. Perfect.
The last time that we went to Watkins Glen for the Super Bowl, we rented cabins, which was also very. Yeah. It was solid. We had there was like an area where I don't know. We took the bikes in, and I think it took us like maybe 10 minutes on bikes.
That's
which is
fun. That's a fun 10-minute ride at night coming back.
Oh my God, it was scary coming back. I'll tell you what. Well, yeah, I mean we were all like feeling pretty good, and
Phish will do that to you.
And it's the one road I remember, it was very downhill, and there was traffic everywhere, and I was like, man, if one person opens their door, one person like does anything, like we're all screwed because we're right in a row.
Yeah.
And it's dark. So it could have gotten really ugly, but thankfully it didn't. We all made it back to the campground safe, and we lit a big bonfire and
celebrated life.
Yeah, hung out until about 3 or 4 in the morning. Woke up at like 10 and did it all over again. You know?
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I feel really bad for these people that they
feel horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that at least knowing our friends, they made the most of it.
Of course, everybody did. From what I've seen, like I said, I've been watching this whole thing progress through Instagram posts of like other Phish people I share music with and shit.
Right.
And they made the most. They still had a party there, and like we were saying, there was a DJ playing some funk music, and there was like an acoustic band playing. Who that gig just became that acoustic band's biggest gig of their lives.
Oh, for sure.
Because they went from playing in the parking lot to headlining this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
in like 1 second.
Exactly.
And everybody was partying. I mean, they make the best of it, and people like I was, thank God it's that. Imagine if it was like Ozfest. Like a bunch of angry juggalos or something. Like, it would not be a nice... People like, well, safety first. We want everybody to be okay. And everyone's all nice. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, that stinks. Can anyone just turn the radio on?
Yeah.
We'll just listen to them. We'll just listen to like an old show.
Yeah. And they, made the most of it. So, good for this. Have you had any contact with these people that we know out there?
Well, actually, I was speaking with Matt, one of the owners of the place, and he was thinking about going, but
I was
at the last minute,
it sold out before. I was thinking about it, and then it sold out.
Yeah, he didn't. So he didn't make it, but he said that 2 of his best friends, who are a couple, they linked up with about 10 other people. They also rented like this big house.
Yeah.
And they had like a couple of their friends come in from California.
Yeah.
And they ended up just throwing a huge house party. Like basically anybody that was walking down the street was welcome to come in. They're like, just come on in, guys. No big deal.
That's
enjoy the weekend anyway.
Yeah.
Which is, very typical of people that follow Phish.
Yeah, especially after something like that happens. There's like this weird communal thing, like when you read about like the way New York City was on September 12th. You know what I mean? Like everybody who like loved each other when like mi casa is su casa type
Absolutely.
of shit. When something that devastating. Yeah, I'm comparing 9/11 to the Phish show getting canceled. To those people, that's what it is. It's religion to these people. They're crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, in times of great tragedy, which... it's not like a show's getting canceled. Like, that's their big highlight of the summer.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, but they're going to come back and their next gig is in like a couple weeks at the Dick's Sporting Goods Pavilion or whatever in Colorado.
Oh, really?
Like, the moment they hit the stage is going to be magical.
Yeah,
People are going to rage.
People are going to go nuts.
All right, here's another... I think between doing this show and I was like playing music with a group of people where we started playing a lot more of this, Phish and the Dead and stuff, it's really gotten me back into that. Like, I was really into it my peak Phish fan years were when they weren't even together. And by the time they came back, I was like, I don't really care anymore. I mean, I've seen them a bunch of times, but like, it took me. So I'm rediscovering all that music from high school, and
Right.
there's a show. It's August 9th, 1998. So it is 3 years to the day that Jerry Garcia died.
Yep.
And Phish is doing their show, some gigantic show somewhere. It's 98. This is late 90s is in my opinion the fucking best. And they play Terrapin.
Yeah.
But nobody knew they were going to play Terrapin, and it
course.
just starts with Trey doing the ba-doodle-doo, and you can hear people in the crowd like, "What?"
What's he doing?
And they're like, "No." And then you
It
hear
can't be.
the piano come in. Ba-doodle-doo. Holy shit!
I
And
think
by the
they're gonna
time
do it.
the whole band comes in, the drums kick in, dude. It's the most insane noise. It's a live Phish recording, but you cannot hear the band anymore.
Yeah.
When the drums kick in and they're playing Terrapin, I'm getting chills right now talking about it.
Right.
It is the loudest. We should really pull it up. We'll pull it up. I'll pull it on my phone later and we'll play it.
Right.
It is the loudest fucking roar, and it goes for like the first 3 minutes of the song. Like he's well
Wow.
into the first verse, and people are still like, "Oh my god!"
Right, right.
And it's because it's very quickly. Everyone's still thinking about Jerry. That's a crazy moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing. It had to be unbelievable to be
Those
there.
magical moments in that whole scene. There's some magic there.
I was just trying to figure out the other day, for whatever reason, I don't know. We were having a few drinks at the bar, and we were talking about how this whole thing happened. And so somebody said, Chris, when was the first time that you saw Phish? And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I think it was like, and I'm thinking it's like 94, 95, maybe around there. But then I realized, like, no, it couldn't have been, because I never saw Phish until after Jerry died.
Yeah.
So
It had to have been later. Yeah.
yeah, so
Post-95.
and I also know that my first Phish show was at the Niagara Falls Convention Center.
Yeah.
So it was easy to figure out from there.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was in 1996, and I look at this set list, and it was like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm like, I barely knew who they were then, Like, I didn't even probably appreciate it nearly as much as I should have, because this set list was insane. It was like something you would kill for now.
I know. That happens a lot, man. Like you just go see a band or you go see someone and then you become a bigger fan after you've seen
Right.
them. So then you
Yeah.
become obsessed with their music. You go look at their set list and you're like, "Oh my god, I kind of wasted all this."
I kind of wasted
'Cause,
that
like,
show.
I had no idea any of this was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, I knew a couple of the songs. Like, I was just starting to get into them. Like I said, I mean, I didn't really, I knew a little bit about Phish through my high school years, but not a lot. And, I mean, that was the early 90s. Not a lot of people, like, they were just kind of, coming around the bend then,
Yeah.
so to speak. So, and I was a total deadhead. So, like, I was like, Jerry or nothing. And,
Yeah.
But then Jerry dies, and I'm like, wow, that can't be nothing.
This is crazy.
That was a stupid remark.
Yeah.
So, so I just started getting into them. So I knew a couple of the songs, like they played like Run Like an Antelope,
Yeah.
and that's always, one that most people know.
Yeah. Did you see there was a few shows prior to the cancellation? They did and this is only fun for Phish fans. They did like a Runaway Jim, into Run Like an Antelope, back into Runaway Jim, back into
nice.
Run Like an Antelope. Like I saw someone like tweeting out the set list, and I'm like, is this a mistake? No, they did this whole long jam where they kept bouncing back in between the songs. It was really cool. They do this experimental, fun stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The shit they would have had planned for this festival. There was
man.
this big silver ball, which I guess is the Curveball, whatever. But it's this giant silver ball, like on stands, surrounded by speakers. And presumably they were going to get inside of it and do their secret late night show.
Right.
I don't know if it was going to project shit or it was all reflective, so people would have seen, like it's like the big bean in Chicago.
Yeah.
How you look at it and you see the reflection of everybody around it.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know. But that's kind of
man.
the creepy thing is now nobody has any idea what was going to happen.
No, exactly.
And they had all these secrets. They're probably like, God damn it.
I wonder, I mean, what are they going to do? Like, do you think that they're going to just, like, come back with it next year? Or
Hopefully, or try to, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you can't really do it in the winter. Not a festival like that.
Not in New York, yeah.
Not here anyway.
I know you follow all these tours. Now they're all like, all these bands I'm seeing, they're just like, we're going to Mexico. We're going, we're going to Jamaica to do a thing.
Well, when I went to Super Bowl, they did the same same thing. They did like a 1 o'clock in the morning secret show. Like everyone, there was a buzz around the quote unquote community. Because basically that's what it is a large community of.
That's the coolest
hippies.
shit. Is that underground?
Yeah, it was great.
A band that has such a big thing can still do like underground stuff.
Yeah,
like secret shows and dark stuff. That's so cool.
Right. So like there was a couple different times, throughout the night, leading up to this, that like you'd hear like some pretty loud music in the distance. You'd be like, oh my God, is that it?
Yeah.
And then you'd realize, no, it was just some guy with a really big speaker on top of his van,
Yeah.
But then finally, all of a sudden, like it started, and you knew it was unmistakable once it actually started.
Of course,
you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, how cool! And they were all just like silhouettes behind like a big screen.
Yeah.
You never actually saw them, but you could tell.
You knew it was them. It was before them, yeah.
Yeah. So
the drummer's wearing a dress, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's got to be them.
Yeah.
So it was a very cool thing.
Yeah, and then at the IT Festival, they did it at like this. They did it like an airfield. So at top of the tower, the control tower, they played up there.
Oh wow!
So like they had there's a whole DVD about it, and they're on top of the thing, and there's lights and smoke coming off. It really is some Close Encounters of the Third Kind shit.
Yeah, wow,
you know what I
that's
mean?
amazing.
Yeah, and God, what would they have done? So that's, I guess, shout out to everybody who missed that, and that sucks, but we feel for you.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Yeah, I saw the people. They make the best of it. I saw a lot of funny memes. Even I hate saying that. I'm sorry, but there was a lot of like people posting shit about like from vacation when they show up and the moose is telling them that the park is closed.
Yeah.
Is all that. Curveball's closed, folks. The moose at the front should have told you.
The moose at the front should have told you.
So they're making perfect. Yeah, they're making the best of it. They're making it funny.
Yeah. This is the other thing about it too is it's Labor Day is coming up, so that's kind of the mark of like here's the end of the summer for people in New York, and even though people came from literally all over the world to this thing, most of the people I would say were from the Northeast.
Yeah.
So their final big hurrah for the summer was this.
Yeah.
Not to mention it's the end of the summer and they lost it all. Like,
yeah. Hey, now you got a shovel.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shovel and listen to old shows, I guess.
Right. Get your headphones out.
Yeah. Bummer. But now I'm kind of like, I'm pretty happy I slept on the tickets there and it sold out too quick.
I know. Same here. Like Matt and I had talked about it for, I don't know, 2 months, and it was like, well, I'd love to, but it's like right at the end of the summer, like this is our last, like, this is also like us, this is our last like month where we can like really sink our teeth in and really, try and pull some, pull together some winter warming money.
Well, like we, said about like when they were doing the Can-Am here, you're getting home and watching everybody else get up and go. So like your work hours are the rest of the world's party hours.
Right.
And the times where they do these, everybody takes off work Labor Day, that's your time to, shine.
Yeah,
pull
exactly.
it all in,
Exactly.
I mean, you find that being a musician as well. Like when I was gigging constantly, you missed a lot of stuff because, all right, they're playing on a Friday night. I got to play too.
Yeah, exactly.
You miss all your other friends in bands. You never see them,
Oh, I know. Hey, man, I bartended every Friday night for, I don't know, 12 years. I mean, I took a few off here and there, don't get me wrong, like when I was going to go away to a festival, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, the year and a half that I moved down to Florida, and but other than that, everybody's like, hey, man, big party on Friday night. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll see you at about 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I would show up.
Yeah.
And I would see the last 10 stragglers of the party still, like, around the fire or whatever they were doing. And, we'd hang out for an hour, and I'd be like, all right, thanks for the invite. I'll see you guys. And then the next day, they'd be like, why didn't you show up to my party? I'm like, I hung out with you. Oh, yeah, I think I do remember you showing up.
I thought it was a dream.
Yeah. So that was always fun and amusing the next day, of course.
Yeah, I mean, once again, being a musician, you go to the bar early, you set all your stuff up, and you're playing all night in the corner where you're having beers, you're having drinks, but you're not getting tore up. You got to handle business.
Right.
So when you're done, most of the people leave, And the people who are still there are the people who are tore up, who've
Right,
been
exactly.
sitting there the whole time getting trashed. So it's like, I don't know, in a movie when there's a party, but they do like a montage where it's all sped up and you see everybody like partying, but there's some song playing. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
You're standing in the
exactly.
corner of the bar watching this whole thing happen. You're like, okay, these two came in, then they got drunk. She was a bitch. They got in a fight.
Yeah.
She started talking to this guy. He tried to punch this guy. Like, and I'm just in the corner watching this whole thing play out. Then by the time you're done, you're hanging out with the stragglers who are left over.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, people are like, oh, it's so great to see you the other night. I'm like, did I? Oh,
Yep.
I saw a mesh of people.
Oh yeah, I get
The vibe at this festival, though, like, people were camped out. So in the one campsite, they let them stay overnight. And it had to have been just so bizarre. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because everybody's like, all right, well, I'm just going to go hog wild. And everything I had for the weekend is happening tonight.
Yeah, I know. That was the scary part.
Yeah. It's like people walking around.
No more moderation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because they're all bummed out. And what's better than being, a little mother's milk to help ease the wounds.
Exactly.
So
I can take this pain away.
you just had to be, I feel like I would be like in the mindset, be like, all right. And then realize, oh, yeah, this isn't happening.
Yep.
And you'd keep having that revelation all night.
I know. I can't believe we're not going to see him tomorrow.
Yeah. This is,
Our mutual buddy Pete,
Yeah.
I saw him. He posted something either on Facebook or Instagram. I'm not really sure, and it was just a picture of like the vehicles rolling in, like a short clip of the. And he's like, everybody rolling in.
Yeah.
Tents are going up. RVs are coming in. The V-dubs. I see the V-dubs. Like, and he was, and as you well know, Pete has seen more Phish shows than any probably 5 or 10 people that I know.
Yeah, he's probably seen them more than
He went to school.
they have.
Yeah, I mean, he went to freaking, he went to college out there, and he just, he's been going to Phish shows for 22, 24 plus years, and he doesn't ever go a year without seeing him at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a low end.
Yeah, for real.
So I'm sure he was really bummed out.
Yeah, but then, also there's those people who don't get to see them all year. People who have like a real serious job. They can't, and this is like their one weekend of the summer that they took off. And this was, because that's what you think, like, all right, if I can't go to every single show or do these 5-night runs, we'll just take this weekend and we'll be at the one festival and that'll make up for the rest of it.
Right.
And now you're watching a DJ in the grass in the parking lot.
Yeah. And these people too that have these quote unquote serious jobs and they're sitting down at their desk. They sit down at their desk on Monday or Tuesday morning, whatever day it is that they decide that they're coming back to work,
Yeah.
and that everybody's like, "How was the show?" Because none of those people have a clue, probably.
No, how was the concert?
Yeah, did you have fun?
Yeah. And then the person's just
it was
like,
canceled.
yeah. Oh.
Or you just make up this amazing story.
Yeah, really. I don't know, man. It's just, oh, well, that's okay. You'll see him next time. You're
Yeah.
like, you monster.
You monster! How dare you?
I had no idea. They were going to play inside of a ball.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I mean, in my younger and more vulnerable days, I worked in a kitchen, and I remember taking a weekend off and like having to work Thursday night and then having to be back Monday morning at like 6.
Yeah.
Getting picked up from the parking lot with all of my gear already in the car, going to a festival, going all weekend camping, packing up, and then having the car drop me back off. So I never went home, maybe showered in a fucking hose once.
Right.
And you walk in, everybody's like, how was the thing? And I'm just like, your face is floating. I can't use the knife today. I can't go anywhere near the meat slicer. I'm going to go do the dishes.
I'm going to go do the dishes. Please don't put any knives in the sink.
It's time. But I'm sure people are going to show up Monday at work and be like, I feel fine. This sucks. This was not the plan.
Right. I used everything I had Thursday night, so I've been sober for 2.5 days.
This is bullshit. Goddamn dirty water. What if people? What's that song they play at Red Sox game? Dirty Water. Isn't there a song? Love that dirty water, Boston. Phish should play that. That'd be really funny.
They should.
I'm interested because they're not just gonna pretend like it didn't happen. Like they're going
they're great about stuff like
acknowledge it, and hopefully
they're definitely going.
That's a brilliant idea. Everybody should tweet them that. Say play Dirty Water. It'll be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it will be really funny.
They do a whole set of just songs about water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah.
All right.
Little Black Money River.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break.
Yep.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. Recorded at the Ontario House. The Stone Jug.
It's still getting louder.
It sounds like they're on fire.
I just got the chills so bad.
Yeah, right? I told you, man.
Wow, listen to that. That's amazing.
While the firelights aglow, strange shadows in the flames will grow. To things we've never seen will seem familiar.
Dude, we might even want to start this set with that.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you started it. All right, awesome.
We're a minute 17 in, and they're still screaming.
They're still screaming.
Yeah. That's amazing. We should have a game. We'll pull up. Is this a group of people being burned alive or a Phish show? Or is it the Phish playing a dead song?
Luckily, we only have clips of the Dead and Phish shows.
Like, where'd you get that audio? I'm sure that's illegal. And we used to, on the old show, we had some bit where it was like, it was a bunch of it was funny Hitler jokes. What are you going to do? It was an offensive show. But I had all these files because I downloaded a bunch of audio of Hitler speeches, and I'm like, the FBI is going to be showing up, knocking on my door. You know what I mean? Thinking I'm Ed Norton in American History X.
Yeah. What kind of affiliation does your family have with the Nazis?
Yeah. No, none.
What do you mean?
I was in Germany once on a layover.
And it was 75 years later.
Yeah, it was nice. No, we were at the Frankfurter or whatever airport. I think that's a hot dog. Whatever the fucking airport.
I was like,
called.
that's what it's called.
And I'm sitting there waiting, and I see a group of Hasidic Jewish people walk by, the whole get up and everything, and I'm like, you guys need to get out of here.
Run!
What are you doing here?
Run!
Why are you here? If I did, that'd be hilarious. I was trying to help. Okay, so let's discuss events that hopefully will not be canceled. There's some upcoming things at the Jug.
There certainly are. We got Labor Day coming up, and on Monday, actual Labor Day, September 3rd, we've got a J.B. Aaron band here. J.B. Aaron is a country singer who, actually, I don't know, he kind of made it a little bit,
Yeah.
in Nashville. He's played the Grand Ole. He showed me a video the other day of him playing the Grand Ole Opry.
Wow.
Which is cool as shit.
That's amazing.
It's
yeah.
really amazing.
It's a part of history, yeah.
Exactly. He's like, this is me at the Grand Ole Opry. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, oh my God, that's definitely you.
Yeah.
And he's really, really good. Amazing voice. I think he's got a few of his own songs, and then, they play a lot of country, but, it's, and I like the old country, the twang.
Yeah.
But he's like, we don't really do that because a lot of people don't get into that nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's he's like, our country is basically Southern rock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's cool as shit.
Dude,
like
Southern,
everybody likes Southern rock.
Of course.
Or you should anyway.
Yeah.
So we got them coming out though, and we've got a whole there's a parade that goes down the street right in front of us, and then there's a little party down the street. And as soon as that's over, we got a big thing going here. We got the band playing. We're doing it totally family based because we know Labor Day is more of a day of people having their backyard parties and fires and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
We're going to do burgers and hot dogs and sausages and stuff like that. We're going to have a bounce house for the kids out back. There's going to be a face painting station out back.
We're going to have a pregnant woman who literally goes into labor.
Yeah, well, that has also happened here. It's pretty exciting. Like we think and we're hoping that like we get a big turnout for that. Hopefully, if anybody out there is listening and they don't have anything to do,
come on down.
Guarantee it's going to be a good time.
It's always a good time.
Always.
I mean, speaking of festivals, like I said, this is a small town, so when there's an event, it feels like it's the whole town is participating. Mm-hmm.
That's why I love these street dances and stuff that we do now. Because the whole town comes out, and it's it can be kind of tough to work them because at least I know so many people in this town from growing up here my entire life. It's like I'm constantly shaking hands with people, and and they are constantly talking to me, and I'm still trying to serve drinks like out of the corner of my eye to the random 7 people that came from a different town. So anyway, Labor Day should be a really good time, and then the following week is opening day for the Bills, which is an enormous thing around here.
Oh yeah,
and the Bills finally ended their playoff drought last year, so. Here we go. A lot of hopeful.
Kind of good.
I think a lot of people are hopeful that, that's the end of.
It's a good sign of good things to come. Yeah.
17 years of absolute misery.
If you want to talk heartbreaking, man, that was the early '90s. The 4 Super Bowls. Wasn't it 4 in a row?
4 in a row.
4 in a row. That was the curveball of Western New York. The early '90s.
Mike, actually, the owner here, he went to, I'm not sure if he went to all 4 Super Bowls. He may have. We should ask him. He's right there. We'll get to him in a second. I'll see what he says. But, he definitely went to at least a couple of them. I think he went to all 4, though. And, man, to go to all 4, from here, you go to, one was in Minnesota, I think at least one of them was in Florida. One was probably in Arizona. And I don't know. They're starting to finally put the Super Bowls in different places now. But generally, it was always, down south because it's the first week of February.
Yeah.
So anyway, for opening day though, we're gonna have we're gonna do like a pig roast here.
Nice.
So there's gonna be some fresh cut pig. For all you vegans out there. And then, a bunch of different sides, stuff like that. I think for $20 we're going to do that with, a couple beers, 2 beers, and all you can eat. $20, can't beat it.
Yeah, man, it's like a block party.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. That's how we're going to kind of finish out the summer here at the Jug. And
head on into football season.
Head right on into football
season. It is
season.
a big, I think that speaks to the heart of the people around here a lot. The fact that a team that has had some hard times still has such a loyal following.
Oh, it's amazing. The following.
I mean, I've been to games, and it's like going to Mecca. It's like religious shit. The whole town everybody is painted blue and red and white.
It's crazy.
And I'm not like I like the game. They're fun, obviously. It's a process. It takes a lot out of you. I enjoy watching sports. I enjoy the excitement of it. I enjoy the physicality of it. I'm not a numbers guy.
Right.
And I don't remember anybody's goddamn name. You know what I mean?
Hey, Mike. Mike. Wow. I guess you can't hear the guy on the microphone.
Yeah. I thought you were talking to the mic.
Yeah. At least the mic is listening.
But yeah, like I'm saying, I'm not So I don't follow sport, I don't follow trades or, whatever. It's an exciting event to me, but I'm not like a diehard fan. But I've been to games, and like through circumstance and people I know, we went to a game and we were in a box, a really nice suite.
Yeah.
And like had access to the Jim Kelly bar,
Yep.
whatever it's called, the sports club. And I had another friend who had a signed Jim Kelly jersey who was like, you got to wear this to the game. You got to wear it. And I'm like, all right, whatever, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to stick out. Because I did go one time, and I put on, I had a Sabres jersey, a hockey jersey.
Yeah.
And then it was, hot as shit, so I took the jersey off, but I was wearing a green shirt under it.
Oh, God.
Might have been a Phish shirt, actually. And they were playing the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
So you started getting hey, motherfucker. Oh, sorry. You see the front had nothing to do with the Dolphin.
Right.
But I'm like, all right, I'll wear the Bills one this time. I don't want to get beaten. And I'm sitting in the Jim Kelly thing with a signed Jim Kelly jersey. And I'm like, everybody's going nuts. They're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. They want pictures with my shirt.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know anything about the guy.
Yeah. A friend of mine who I go to the games with every once in a while, he has the Jim Kelly Club passes too, and I remember we went to the one game and we were both hungover as shit, and we barely made it to the game on time. So we go into the bar and he's just like, dude, he's like, we might as well just do a shot right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds awful, but you're probably right.
Get back on track.
So that's what we do, and sure enough, a half an hour later, we're starting to feel normal again, And then the game ends, and I'm like, all right, we getting out of here? He goes, hell no. He's like, we're going back into the club. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we can go in there till 6. And the game is over at 4. So we hung out in there for 2 hours. We walked outside, and there is normally,
it's
30,000, 40,000 vehicles out there.
Yeah.
There was 11.
Wow.
I was like,
trippy.
This is great.
Yeah.
You just pull right out. You don't have to worry about any traffic, nothing.
That's funny.
Yeah, it couldn't have been any more perfect.
Yeah, that's great. It's got to be eerie to see a place that you're used to seeing so full of people.
Yeah.
I have reversed that with Art Park. Because I walk through Art Park almost every day. I live right around the corner.
Right.
And then when you go and there's a band there and it's full of people, you're like, what are these people doing at my place?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's weird.
So, speaking of the Bills, I had season tickets for a couple years. Back, it was during the Drew Bledsoe days, so I'm talking, it probably had to be around somewhere between 2003 and 2006, 2008. I'm not really sure. So, we had so many funny things happen at these games.
That's an infamous thing, Bill's Mafia and shit. Those videos go viral of people lighting themselves on fire and taking a shit on a car or something. It's...
Dude, you got old people jumping off the top of RVs onto tables,
Like backyard wrestling.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're like, dude, that guy is 62 years old. He's going to jump 20, not 20, 12 feet down and then break that table.
Yeah.
How many beers has he had?
A million.
Because there's no way when he's sober he makes this decision. So I had tickets with, I used to work at a different bar in Lewiston, and the owner of the bar was this really big guy. He was 6'6", 260, 280 pounds, a giant human being.
He should have been on the field.
Yeah, he probably could have been on the field. So, I had season tickets with, it was myself, him, another friend of ours, Mike, and then every week we would randomly pick someone from the bar to take to the game with us.
Nice.
Yeah. And we were like, your only responsibility is to buy the first 2 rounds of beer at the game, and the ticket's yours, and we brought all the beer, the food, the everything. You didn't even have to do that. You just had to get the first 2 rounds as soon as you got there.
Lucky guy.
And you were in. Yeah. So, anyway, we would, we'd go, and I remember, some of the most classic lines I've ever heard in my life came out of these games, and some of the most hilarious things I ever saw. For example, we were at this one game, and this kid, he must have been 17 years old. He's constantly like right there, like we're tailgating as everyone in Buffalo does. You know,
Yeah.
you're out there at 8, 9 in the morning. The game doesn't start till 1, and you're getting rolling.
Half of the experience.
Absolutely.
I knew a lot of people who never even really went into the game. They just liked to barbecue. They just wanted to
yeah.
hang out the whole time. They didn't really care about the game.
Exactly. Yeah. You'd see them after the game, and they were like the most wasted person there. You know,
Yeah,
like, wow, you had
really.
the best time. You know. So anyway, so this particular game. This kid, like, will not leave us alone. Like, he's just like...
He's not with you?
No,
He's
he is
just a
not with
kid?
us at all. He's just some 17-year-old kid who's got a Bills jersey on and telling us how much the Bills suck. So, like, I'm like, dude, what? I'm like, well, who the fuck is this kid? Get the hell out of here, kid. You know, like, he's like, I'm telling you guys right now, like, they're going to lose, like, blah, 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 blah. So he's telling us all this, whatever. We go into the game. Sure enough, the Bills lose. We're coming out of the game. We're not 5 steps out of the stadium, and this kid is right next to us. I'm like, how the hell did he just find us out of 80,000 people? He's like, I fucking told you guys they were going to lose. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, where did he come from? So my buddy, the big guy, is... like, get the fuck. He was die hard.
Yeah.
So, like, he did not want to hear this shit.
No.
He's like, get the fuck away from me. He's like, oh, whatever, like, whatever. He's like, I'm going to freaking kill you, kid. He's like, get away from me. I'm not joking. And the kid's like, I swear to God, he's like dancing around. He was like fucking Tinkerbell.
What's wrong with this kid?
I have no idea. So, anyway, he's doing all this. Well, my friend fucking grabs him and starts swinging him around by the jersey. And he starts swinging him so hard, the jersey, I don't know if it had like a little rip in it already or something like that, but it rips right off this kid's body. Like, rips. Like, he didn't come out through the holes.
Yeah.
He created his own hole and just went flying into the lawn. So, anyway, he's like, oh, you guys are fucking assholes. He fucking takes off
What
running
did he
away.
think was going to happen?
Yeah, so he takes off. He runs away.
Yeah.
You know, like an hour goes by, we're tailgating again. As we're tailgating, all of a sudden, like, this group of guys comes up to us.
Oh, no.
And,
I'm going to get my brother.
yeah. So they're like, hey, you. And they're pointing at my buddy. And, they're like, what the hell's your problem? You like picking on kids? And he's like, no. He's like, but that kid's a fucking asshole. He's like, I told him to leave us alone, stay away from us, and he wouldn't do it. So he goes, so the guy, now, I haven't mentioned, this kid was probably about 5'6". My buddy is 6'6". The kid probably weighed 140 pounds. My buddy weighed 280 pounds.
Not a fair fight.
No. So, like, you know, but it wasn't a fight. He just kind of whipped him around a little.
Yeah.
Well, so we're like, who the hell are you guys? And the guy's like, he's like, I'm his uncle. He's like, what the hell's your deal? And now his uncle is the exact same size as him.
As the kid?
As the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes to my buddy. He goes, why don't you try picking on somebody your own size? And my buddy goes, you got an uncle? And the guy goes, that's it, and just charges him.
Oh my God.
So this obviously, like, this whole fight broke out. Like, we got in a little scuffle, and
Yeah, it
you know,
happens.
like, yeah, and like we threw Munchkin Town back out to the road, and then like we took off.
That's hilarious.
It was great. It was. One
Was
of the
there a
funniest
moment
things.
of everybody breaks out into laughter
Oh
before
God, yeah.
the mayhem?
Yeah, we all start laughing, and they're like, "That's it!" And all these tiny arms started flying at us.
You just put your hand on his head and he starts swinging
We're
and
like,
kicking.
"Oh no, here they come!"
That's funny. I mean, what is wrong with this kid? He's not getting attention at home. He's just going to follow him around and just like yell at Bills fans with a Bills jersey on.
Dude, it was ridiculous. It was like he really singled us out. Like, and I don't know if it was just because, you know, he felt that we were approachable, but like once you know, the big guy was like, "Get the fuck away from us!" Like,
That's time to get the fuck away.
I mean, he's a really big dude. Like, you would think that he would be like, "All right, sorry." Like,
Maybe
I
the
really
little
don't-
kid was like, "Oh, he's huge. He's not going to hit me."
Well, you know, there is such a thing as a Napoleon complex, and this entire family had it.
Yeah, it was hereditary. It
Yeah.
was with all of them.
It was really funny. So, yeah, that's just one of my many stories that I have from Bills games, because something interesting happens at every single one.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're used to it, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I can't. I mean, I went to a fair amount of games. We had a hookup for a little bit, But I don't know. I don't remember. I guess when you're going with like rich people, you get in a box and it's all nice and everything. And there's RVs and shit. Like you're not down there with the nitty gritty, because it does get nitty and fucking gritty at that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We actually are. We went through a lot of shit during those days because our tickets were in the end zone. We were in the 11th row of the end zone, and that's about the. That's about the best place you can be if you want to have a really good time at a Bills game. Which,
yeah.
It gets pretty wild. I saw everything from total all out brawl
like
between
the whole section.
Well, not the whole section, but a dozen people or so. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, because it's this group of friends and that group of friends. Thrown out for that. Girls are flashing their boobs, you know what I mean? Like it's all going on, and they always catch them all too. Like they're like, you're out, you're out, you're out. I'm like, how the hell did they even see that?
They have. I mean, it's this weird, like, socially acceptable to just go absolutely batshit crazy. Oh, and it's anything. It's, hey, your kid. Oh, yeah, I beat up a kid. It was a Bills game. Oh, okay. It's like, you know what I mean?
It was a Bills game.
It's the whatever happens in Vegas situation. Like, it's just...
He was over 12.
all of these normal people. I mean, there's partiers and shit, but a Bills game seems to be where everybody... It's like St. Patrick's Day. It's like everybody is now going to be a partier, and they're going to go hard from, like you said, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And by the time you're in the fourth quarter of the game, everybody's out of their goddamn minds.
Right. I actually was lucky enough to, and somehow managed to pull this off. I did a 1 o'clock Bills game once and a 7 o'clock Sabres game.
Nice.
I don't remember the Sabres game at all. Like the next day I woke up and I was like, I think I went to the Sabres game. But, you start at 8:30 in the morning. When you get to the Sabres game at 6:45, like, you don't know what the hell's going on. I can't even believe they let me in.
Probably the Sabre on the warpath.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure we were doing a lot of that.
Yeah, Buffalo's a hell of a town, man.
It sure is.
Is there? Football games, people tailgate and party and stuff, but this is a story I have told before, but I think those tapes don't exist anymore. I think they had to be burned. But we tailgated it wasn't a hostage situation because it was just one guy. But it was like a standoff.
Oh, the Mexican standoff.
The Mexican standoff.
I remember this.
All right. I'll preface this story by saying I was really sick this day. Sick as a dog. So I was like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm ignoring every call, every email, whatever. I'm going to crash on the couch and whatever. But I was like, I need some medication. I need some vitamin C. I need to go down to the CVS and get some supplies.
All right.
So I start walking down the street. CVS right down the street from my house. I'm walking down the street, and I see, like, a cop car parked on the side of the road. I'm like, whatever. People in my neighborhood call the cops if a stick falls on the ground. I'm like, like my neighbor called the cops because there was a raccoon one time, but, like, a totally fine raccoon. She's like, well, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, did he have a gun? Why are we calling the cops?
Hold it right there.
So I see a cop car. I'm like, all right, whatever. And as I'm coming around the corner, I see another cop car. And then, like, I'm noticing the whole corner of my street and around this one apartment complex is, like, every type of cop car. Troopers, state troopers, park police, fucking mall
Sheriffs,
police, everybody.
Yeah, right.
And then even, like, the black unmarked cars, like the NYPD blue cars, and the guys in the suits and trench coats and shit with the coffee, and you know that there's whiskey in the coffee.
Right,
Old school detective shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then there's like a 2-story apartment complex, and the top window on the corner is open. And there's a detective on the parking lot looking up going, come on, you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And apparently there was a guy, it's happened a few times. There's a guy who just, family, whatever, they were worried about him. He was going to hurt himself. He was going to hurt somebody. And in this day and age, they don't take any chances with that shit.
No, absolutely.
This guy could have built a bomb and blown up the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they had this whole place on lockdown.
Right.
And I wasn't even going to do anything today. Now I'm in the middle of this.
Now I'm in a Mexican standoff.
We knew who the guy was, so we called it a Mexican standoff. But, all in all, I felt bad for the dude because it's like everything was fine, but whatever. So I'm like, holy shit. So I'm calling my friend. I'm like, dude, did you hear anything about what's going on? Like, what the fuck? He's like, I'll be right there. So he parks at my house and walks down. We're standing there.
I'll be right there.
And then my friend who lives in the apartments next door gets home from work, and he calls. He knows I live down the street. He calls. He's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, I don't know, dude. He's like, all right, let's go over and meet up at my place. So we go over to his apartment. They share a parking lot. And we're standing there, and it's just a standoff. Nothing's happening. By this time, there's like SWAT team trucks there.
Right.
And we're like, Jesus Christ, this is
the most
fucking
exciting
crazy.
thing that's happened in Lewiston in 20 years.
For real. Like, this is crazy. It's like a Schwarzenegger movie. This is nuts. And then my buddy's like, you guys want a beer? We're like, all right, yeah. And they go get beers, and he's like, I got lawn chairs. And we set them up in the parking lot, and we effectively start tailgating this Homeland Security situation.
That sounds like the perfect thing to do.
Yeah, the detectives are like, all right, I'll make a deal. All right, you're not going to get in trouble. We just want this to be... And then you see him look over. He's like, are those guys drinking beer? Like, we were inappropriately close to the situation.
Are those guys drinking beers?
We're just sitting there. We're like, woo, get him.
Come on, guys, you can do it.
We were
Go
right
team.
And when we walked over to this apartment, there's a little cut through that we used to use. And I'm like, dude, we should probably just say the roads. Like, I don't want to pop out of a bush on these people.
No.
And we totally did. We were literally maybe 20 feet away from this guy who's like, I could see they got machine guns. And they're like, what are you doing? We're like, we're just cutting through. No, don't mind us.
Don't mind us.
Can you grasp what's happening right now? Is this normal? So, okay, this isn't even... the more I'm thinking about it is this story keeps going. So we're tailgating. And then, by now, we got like 7 people there. Like, everybody else is coming over and hanging out. We're like, you want a beer? And we're having ourselves a little party. And an older woman and I'd say like a middle-aged, I'd say a woman in her 60s and a woman in like her mid-40s come over.
Okay.
And the woman in her 60s is like, what's happening? What's going on? Me and my husband used to own that apartment over there, which had nothing to do with it. She was just talking a lot.
Right.
And honestly, I was like, you're kind of ruining this for me.
I actually lived in that apartment complex, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about that place.
Exactly.
But she's all yapping and yapping and yapping. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And these two are standing there. And the 40-year-old woman hasn't said anything. And it's dark now, and they throw what I guess is called a flashbang, which sounds like a very childish description for it, because that's literally what it does. Flash bang.
Right.
What are we going to call this thing? What does it do?
What does it do?
Flashes, and then it bangs. And call it a flashbang.
We'll call it a flashbang.
All right.
Good pick. We got the name.
So there's a flash that's dark, but it lights up the whole neighborhood, and then there's this pop, and you hear every dog within 3 blocks starts barking. And it was like jarring. Like for some reason, I thought that this had nothing to do with this situation. I was like, oh, that's something else. Like, it was so weird. My brain couldn't put it together that this was happening on the corner of my quiet little street.
Right. And
the 40-year-old woman who hadn't said anything starts freaking out, like making crazy noises. And this is when we realized that she may be deaf or mentally. So she wasn't. She was being taken care of by the older woman.
Sure.
So she doesn't know what's happening. She thinks we're just tailgating. She thinks we're just having a barbecue.
Right. She wants a beer. She wants to chill.
All of a sudden, this huge flash and bang happens. She starts screaming, and the other lady's like, "It's okay," and we're all like. As the SWAT team's blowing up an apartment complex, this lady's screaming, all the dogs are barking, we're drinking beer. I'm like, I wasn't even going to do anything today.
I'm supposed to be on the couch with a big blanket.
Yes, and by the way, this is like 6 hours after I left. This was an all-day thing. Like, I hadn't been home yet. I never even made it to the store.
I never even made it to the store. That's perfect.
This is all happening. So it quiets down, she calms down. The flashbang worked because they go get the guy out. But by now, that's not even really the story anymore. Like, we're kind of half paying attention to the hostage situation, more paying attention to the little weird crew we've built.
Right.
And we're watching them start to take this guy out. The moment, it's 6 hours leading up to this moment, they're taking him out. And to the left of me is our friend, Steve. And to the left of him is these 2 women. And from the left, I hear...
Oh, God.
Just a dirty one. And
that
I'm
might
like,
have been a shark.
And I'm just like, oh, Steve, you genius. Because if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be him. And I'm like, dude, brilliant. He could have let that pass quietly, but he didn't. He took care of he took advantage of the situation. He realized this is the perfect time. This is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
And our friend Joe is on the right of me. He's like, Steve, oh, you fucking dick. Oh, starts giggling at the fact Steve farted. And Steve, he turns to me, and like I said, he sounded like Liam Neeson in Taken on the phone. He was so serious. He goes, that wasn't me. And I look him in the eye, and Joe's still laughing. He didn't hear him.
Right.
So it's like, if nobody said anything, it would have been fine, but we are really making it a point that everyone heard that.
Yeah.
And they eventually just left. They're just like, all right, we were...
It wasn't me.
Felt bad for the older lady. She's like, we're trying to make friends here. And if this woman was deaf, she has no idea why they had to leave. She just felt a little tickle, and now we're leaving. And everybody's laughing. I don't understand what happened.
Right.
But yeah, so that all happened in the middle of the standoff, and then they took the guy out and left, and then I just went home.
That was a dirty one.
That was just the weirdest day ever.
That is pretty crazy. It's crazy. My a really good friend of mine lives in the house right across, like same parking lot.
Yeah.
You know, and he said that he was, for whatever reason, home, and he had called me actually that day, and he's like, dude. He's like, you got to see what's going on out here.
It was crazy.
I'm like, what's going on? He's like, remember that kid that I said I heard for 2 days? Because he did. The kid was in the parking lot the one day, and he's like, hey, so you put you know, telling him like what kind of work he does, like whatever. And he's like, hey, you want a job? So he shows up Thursday. He shows up Friday. He gets paid on Friday, and he only sees him in the parking lot from then on.
Yeah.
It was one of those situations. He made like $120 and was like, woohoo, I'm out of here.
I'm retiring.
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's an interesting way to do things, especially living right across the parking lot from each other. It's like
really.
you can look into each other's windows. Like it's that, like you're 20 feet or 30 feet away from each other.
Yeah, exactly. Dodging them.
No.
Especially when you're calling attention to yourself with such acts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, all in all, the dude was all right, which is good. I
Yeah.
don't want to see any, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
the
harm
situation
came to
itself, we're not talking down on the situation itself. It was a bad situation. They took care of it. They did their jobs. But in the middle of all that, we were having ourselves a wacky little time in the parking lot. We tailgated a federal situation.
That's what you do when you're from Western New York. You tailgate everything.
I've said that. I'm
You
like,
do.
I'm talking to my chick. I'm like, you could take 4 housewives from Lewiston and transport them to a beheading in 17th century France, and they'll all stand there with their Cosmos in a circle facing each other and just go, Jonathan had baseball practice the other day. And they're not even going to listen or pay attention to where they are. You can put them on the moon, and they'll sit in a circle, and they think, oh, Claudia's dance recital, and they're just... It's the same people all the time. So that's what happens. You do this. What am I going to do? Get a gun and put on a vest? We're going to have a beer.
Oh, we're going to have a beer. And let's see how this thing plays out.
It's the Buffalo Natives' natural way to tailgate.
It is.
Us in our natural form. An uncomfortable folding chair.
Yep.
A barbecue smoker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Good times.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Captain's Jug of Thoughts. Please keep listening. You find it on Facebook. You find it at, thermopolis.com has the logo. It'll take you to the Patreon. All the videos, all the stuff. We've been getting tons of good feedback.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of good feedback, and we appreciate it from everybody.
Shout-outs to everybody who's
absolutely.
been... Tell your friends. This will grow organically. We're like an indie band, and these are our first gigs.
Yeah, that's right.
So then when we're all big and we have like a big show, everyone's going to be like, they suck now.
Yeah, exactly. You can hold up signs saying that we blow. And, I was there for the first show. It was way better, man.
Way better. We're going to have a festival and cancel it.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah, Captain's Jug of Thoughts. We'll see you next time.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. Recorded at the Ontario House, the Stone Jug.